YouTube, what's good? Welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Today I have the top 5 loadouts that you guys need to be using after the mid-season 3 update. A few days ago we had an update in Warzone that made some changes to the map and some changes to some weapons as well. So today we're going to be going over 5 loadouts that you need to give a go. With these 5 loadouts, I'm not ranking these in any specific order. They all play fairly differently and are unique in their own ways. With that being said, there's not one specific weapon category we're focusing on in this video. It's a few different ones, as you guys are going to see. As usual, if you guys do go on to enjoy today's video or find it useful, definitely drop a like down below and subscribe for some more Warzone content just like this. So without further ado, guys, let's get right into this top 5. So starting us off on our number 5 spot, we have the Cold War AK-47. This AK is definitely one of the best secondary weapons that you can be using in Warzone right now for close range gunfights. The TTK on this gun up close is very quick and it's a very mobile AR, and that's why we use it as our secondary weapon. This AK loadout feels like an AR but definitely plays like an SMG. So overall, this AK is definitely one of the best you can be using right now, so definitely give it a go. So for our class setup, for the muzzle we're using the GRU suppressor, for the barrel we're using the 20 Spetsnaz RPK, for our laser we're using the Tiger Team Spotlight, for the underbarrel we have the Spetsnaz grip-on, and finally for our ammo we're using the 45 round mag. Now an alternate setup you guys can use if you don't like the iron sights on this AK would be to get rid of the laser and put on the Microflex LED for the optic. You won't have the greatest hip fire on the gun, but it will still be great up close. So moving on to our number 4 spot, we have the AMAX. This AMAX is arguably still one of the best guns you can use in Warzone right now because of the damage it produces. With this gun, if you're hitting your opponent in the head or the upper torso, they're going to down extremely quickly. And with the right attachments and setup, you can minimize the recoil as much as possible, so this gun's an absolute laser. Even after any nerfs that this weapon has had, it's still very difficult to find an AR that performs as good as the AMAX. The AMAX is one of the only assault rifles that's fantastic with close and long range gunfights. So overall, this thing is definitely one of the best in the game right now, and you need to give it a go. So the attachments you're going to want to use: for the muzzle we're using the monolithic suppressor, for the barrel we're using the XRK Zodiac, for the optic we're using the 3x VLK. I definitely recommend using the T-Pose reticule for your VLK optic if you have it unlocked. For the underbarrel we have the Commando foregrip, and finally for our ammo we're using the 45 round mag. This AMAX is definitely worth using and leveling up if you haven't already. So moving on to our number 3 spot, we have a tactical rifle, and that's the M16. Even after any nerfs that this M16 has had, the damage is still great and there's barely any recoil to the setup. This M16 is definitely perfect for long range gunfights, and it even performs fairly well in close range gunfights too. If you're hitting them in the head or the upper torso with this M16, it's going to be 2 to 3 bursts to down them, so this gun is extremely powerful. So the class setup you're going to want to use: for the muzzle we're using the Agency suppressor, for the barrel we're using the 15.9 strike team, for the optic we're using the arms 3x, for the underbarrel we have the field agent foregrip, and finally for our ammo we're using the 60 round fast mag. Something you can definitely do is switch out the 60 round mag for a 45 round standard mag if you feel that you don't need the extra bullets. So moving right along to our number 2 spot, we have our first SMG, and that is the MAC-10. Even after all the nerfs that this MAC has had, it still has one of the quickest TTKs in the game from up close. You can run around the map very quickly when you're holding this gun because of how mobile it is, and from an overall standpoint, in Season 3 I still believe that the MAC is still one of the best, if not the best, SMG in the game right now. Even from a medium range, this gun still gets the job done, but it definitely performs its best close up. With the right attachments on this gun, you can increase the damage significantly and minimize the recoil to just a little bit. The reason the MAC has such a quick TTK is because of its fire rate. It has one of the quickest fire rates in the game, which gives it a huge advantage over other SMGs. This MAC is also able to have a 53 round mag on it, which helps with killing several people at once without having to worry about reloading your gun. So overall, this MAC has a lot of pros to it over other SMGs, and you guys definitely need to give this loadout a go. So here's the class setup you're going to want to use. For the muzzle we're using the Agency suppressor, for the barrel we're using the 5.9 task force, for the stock we're using the SAS combat stock, for the ammo we're using the 53 round drum mag, and finally for the rear grip we're using the drop shot wrap. Now there was a variant in Season 1 that you were able to unlock if you got to tier 100 in the battle pass and if you bought it. I definitely recommend you guys throw that variant on if you have it, because it gives you a huge advantage because it has a thinner iron sight. I know a thinner iron sight doesn't sound too crazy, but I promise you if you have that variant, you will have an advantage. So moving right along, in our number 1 spot, we have the XM4. This XM4 is a fantastic secondary weapon just like the AK-47. It has great damage and barely any recoil to it up close. The TTK on this XM4 is very quick because of how fast the fire rate is. It's a very mobile AR, and that's why we use it as a secondary, and overall it's very easy to use. When you're using this loadout, you're going to see that it feels like an AR when you're moving around with it, but it just shoots like an SMG. As I said before, this gun is like the AK because of the way it feels when you're actually using it. When I first started using this gun, I thought it was alright, but then I started getting the right attachments on it, and now I absolutely love it. This XM4 loadout gets the job done from medium range gunfights, but it definitely performs its best in the closer range gunfights. So here's the class setup that you guys are going to want to rock with. For our muzzle, we're using the Agency Suppressor. For the barrel, we're using the 13.5 Task Force. For the laser, we have the Tiger Team Spotlight. For the ammo, we're using the 45 round mag. And finally, for the rear grip, we're using the Serpent Grip. Now, I know some of you might be wondering why we're using the standard 45 round mag and not the fast mag. If you use the fast mag, it slows down the ADS, and the difference between the reload speed with the fast mag and the standard one is very slim, so it's definitely worth it to use the standard 45 round mag. So overall, these are the top 5 loadouts that you guys need to give a go after the mid-season 3 update as of a few days ago. I recommend that you combine these loadouts to have a primary and secondary, for example using the AMAX and then the MAC, or even the M16 and the XM4, and let me know down in the comments below what you guys used and how you did with them. With all that being said, if you guys did go on to enjoy today's video, definitely drop a like down below and subscribe for some more best class setups and Warzone content just like this. With that guys, I will see you in the next one. Peace.